Awesome. We're live. All right. Welcome, everyone. My name is Gideon Bhatti, and I'm so glad that you're here. I am the founder and owner of Brownswell and of the Seasoned Leader Movement. I am an earth-based healer, a leadership coach to empathic leaders and to mission-driven organizations. What the heck does that mean? Well, as you can see on the screen are four amazing, beautiful humans and beings who I have had the distinct privilege and pleasure to walk alongside in my work, who have walked alongside me and come into the Brownswell and Seasoned Leader community. So you're looking at four bona fide seasoned leaders. And I invited them on to sit here and talk with each other. So we just had a fun little get to know each other time to connect, but also wanted you all to get to know them, to understand some more about what it means to be a seasoned leader, how embracing seasoned leadership is really like the most potent container for the complexities that we're having to face as empathic leaders. And more than anything, to infuse your day with hope. Because I have to say that in this already trying world, and even more trying time since pandemic has begun, these people are the ones that give me hope. It is my connection with each of you and our work together that reminds me that justice is just around the corner, that our spirits and our bodies are going to lead the way. And we're going to do it together with the models that I'm showing you today. So welcome, everyone. I'll leave it. We're going to hand it over to them. So grab a cup of tea, enjoy, and just soak up the energy of these amazing, amazing beings and the flowers. This is earth-based work, so we brought the earth in with us. Okay. Welcome. Yeah, show our plants.
Oh yeah.
Nadia was outside and then the Wi-Fi cut out. So she had to come inside, but there's like a giant, beautiful garden outside the space she's in. I like your background anyway. So, okay. Over to all of you. So let's just start. Let's go around. And if you all could just say your name, introduce your plant friends again. And just any other identifiers that you would like everyone to know.
I can go first. My name is Ronnie. I use she, her, hers pronouns. I'm here with my dog, Bucky. That's him. Wow, that was a side-eye, bud. So if you hear snoring or other noise, it's probably him. Oh, and this is my plant.
Yay.
And what else do I want to share? I live in Portland, Oregon. And my paid work here is as a social worker, therapist. But I do much more outside of that.
Yeah, you do. Thanks, Ronnie, for being here, and Bucky and Plant. Want to pass it on to someone?
Oh, sure. I will pass it on to Michelle.
Thank you, Ronnie. And hello, everyone. My name is Michelle. I use she, her pronouns. And this is a succulent and a flamingo.
Why not?
That I love. And actually, one of my coworkers brought it by since COVID, just as a little present. And so I got to see a coworker and get this really special gift. So I like that. I am in Seattle, Washington. And I am a director of a nonprofit that is social justice oriented. And that keeps me busy. And I also do other things. But I'm so grateful to be here with these amazing humans. I'm so grateful to Kiran for the opportunities that I've had to work with you. And so that's it for now, I think.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for being here.
Oh, for sure. And I was going to pick Natasha.
Hi everyone, Natasha, living in Houston, Texas at the moment. Here are my flowers. And myself too. I need a little joy, and I'm glad they're here to hang out with us. I use pronouns she, her as well, and yeah, I some work background, worked in like social impact businesses and historic preservation work with real estate development and family, and really excited about my work that's starting to take hold, which is around helping women access their health and sensuality and leadership using a lot of earth-based medicine. So I feel really grateful to be here and to be with you all today.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Natasha.
Oh, Nadia.
Hi, my name is Nadia. I use she, her pronouns, and I am in Eugene, Oregon. And my flowers were lilacs that were outside, but because of the internet, I am now inside. Although the outside is calling me, so I may take a detour outside. I'm a mama. I'm an educator. I am a prison abolitionist. I am a lot of things. I don't always identify as a leader. So it's interesting to be in this space. I'm honored to be seen as one, but I think that that's relatable, that we don't always feel like, oh, that's not me, that's someone else. But I've been really grateful to be in dialogue and conversation with Kiran, and really excited to be here today to share a little bit about what the work has brought to me and to be in dialogue with all these other beautiful humans.
Thanks for being here, Nadia. That's really interesting that you say that about not seeing yourself as a leader. A lot of the folks that I work with, they say the same thing. They're like, I see myself as a leader now after my work with you. And after I've been starting to acknowledge them as empathic leaders, because, well, and I don't think that's any surprise that I work, like 99% of the folks I work with are BIPOC women.
Yeah. I remember the first time you told me that, it was like, who's she talking to? But then there's a moment to like receive that in those words, and it just feels really like, oh yeah, see myself in that one.
Yeah, totally. Well, y'all are leaders, and y'all are hella empathic, and just so many things, which I think will reveal itself more as we continue to talk. So many places we can start. And I wanted to start with a question that I think touches on something that a lot of empathic leaders grapple with. And I think especially at this moment in time. And so we'll start there and see where it goes. Okay. So my question to you all is, how has our earth-based work with me, as you've continued it out in the world, how has the earth-based work changed your relationship to urgency as a leader?
Mm-hmm.
So I will start. And something that I've shared before is that it's feels at times impossible to translate the work into the staticness of language, because so much of it is about feeling, so much of it is about moving, so much of it is just greater and deeper and further than my words allow me to articulate. So forgive me if this is clumsy, but I feel that in the work that we've done together, every obstacle has really become an invitation although I have not been able to see it as such. Many of those things have felt paralyzing, have felt overwhelming, have felt so large, and I've been so stuck at times. And it's continually profound to me how in a session we're able to find a new path and find a portal and end somewhere where it's an invitation, it's an opportunity, there's wonder, there's curiosity. I feel rooted, and in that, urgency takes on a really different form. Sometimes urgency is more pressure and push, and sometimes it's more, oh, here we are in this new place. And so understanding the way that urgency itself is fluid, and obstacles themselves are invitations, are ways that I feel that have helped me grow.
I love that. Whoa. Obstacles as portals and urgency as like I think what I hear you saying is maybe even, whoa, the urgent energy is actually motivation, is like what pushes you towards a portal.
Yes.
Cool.
I would say I very much agree with that. But, and also I feel when I hear that question, a thing that arises in me is, at the risk of sounding trite, right? The earth has its own cycles and pattern and time that have nothing to do with Greenwich Mean Time or the Julian calendar or whichever Gregorian, or, right? Like it has its own cycle, and it has cycles inside of cycles, right? And we live in quite often, or you know, often in these artificial time sequences, and urgency becomes a big piece of that. Like, this must happen now, this, always a deadline, always a meeting, always a thing. And I by myself, or even we as a group, are unlikely to completely dismantle that anytime soon. But what the earth-based work does, or one of the things that it does for me, is it calls me out of the human-made urgency. And, in earth cycles, there are also urgency, right? But it calls me into a natural thing. And if I could give a short example, literally today, earlier today, dealing with some challenges, obstacles, portals awaiting to open. And I was feeling really sad because some things felt insurmountable. And a voice said, "You must go outside right now. Go outside, go outside." Was probably kidding. I don't know. It didn't sound like you exactly, but it probably go outside, go outside. So I went outside.
This is amazing.
I just opened the front door and went outside. And of course, what happened, like I smelled earth, I smelled trees. It's spring, right? Here it's spring in this hemisphere. The birds were just like in their bird song like crazy. I put out some peanuts for the scrub jays and the whatever, and I pulled some dead leaves off the fuchsia that hangs in the thing. And it took me out of, it's not like it took my sadness completely away, but it took me out of the mad rush human-made cycle that I was in, and moved me into a slower and more aware space that was really helpful. And so the earth-based work, I guess what I'm saying is, offers an invitation to move out of this artificial, it's real, like we all do really serious work. So the work is real and it's serious, but out of those forced stressors, and allows you to root and smell those earth smells, some of which are good, some are not, right? But smell those smells and see those sights and regroup.
Dang. I already feel like that was so good. I'm like there with you. I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, yeah,
I'm
obviously,
like
because you were like
smell.
speaking in head.
Picturing like a little cutin on your shoulder.
I'm happy to offer that. I usually make a little like sticker or something. A little. Wow, that's hilarious. That no one's ever said that before. That's amazing. But I just feel you. I'm like there with you on your spring day as you described that. Like, and I think that, yeah, I'm just curious what's happening in other people's bodies right now. I'm just like feeling really juicy.
I'm feeling a lot of warmth and appreciation for you all. Yeah, and part of me feels like launched back to when we first met Kieran, and like you said earlier, Nadia, it's hard to put in a word. So I don't know if this will make sense to anyone, but I'll give it my best shot. But I just remember when we first started working together, Kieran, I felt like there's so many moments or extended periods of time where I felt just very separate from my body in this really intense way that I'm now able to recognize and name. Back then, I was just like so in it that it was hard to fully identify what was happening. And I feel like through our work together, I really learned how to not only like come back into my body, but regain a connection with the earth through my body and my spirit. And a large part of that also was like recognizing and honoring my intuition again, because that was a large part of like why I felt so distant and separated from my body in these really intense ways. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense or like resonates with anyone, but I wanted to share that because that memory came to me.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I want to acknowledge you. I think you're so spot on, you know, in what you're saying. And yeah, you did such amazing work. And I just want to honor you. I want to honor like remembering what you came in with from the beginning and just how you kept moving toward, like to say I felt so disembodied and now I'm embodied again. Like I think we hear this all the time, right? And like on Instagram and in social media and all over the place, like there is a raising consciousness and awareness around the importance of healing, around the importance of becoming embodied, around the importance of getting connected to the earth. Like that's definitely, we can say that now, you know, like we can acknowledge it. It's not just fringe in a way. And like, but what you just said, you know, like how long have we been working together, you know?
Probably three-ish years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that journey that didn't just happen overnight. And it took just your commitment was so beautiful to watch. And I remember the days where you would like, I could see you struggling, you know, I could see you like struggling and then like, and the shame that also came up with that, but you kept coming. And I just was like, you're so, it's just like the beauty of that, the beauty of continuing to trust in yourself and in the journey. And I just have nothing but such deep respect for you and what it's taken for you to get to this place where you can say what you're saying right now in the way that you're saying it.
Yeah.
And that goes for all of you. I've seen that journey in each of you.
for sharing loves. Yeah, I was thinking like the same of when we first met and how we first met, and like we actually didn't meet, virtually met, I guess. That was a couple years later. But I was in a similar state of like not listening to my intuition. I was leading an organization here. I was in this partnership here, and like just like overspent in like family business and like stretched. But I had this like, but I'm saving the world on my shoulders of like my organization, like weight we put on our shoulders as like community activators. And it just wasn't serving. So there's like two different voices in my head. There was that voice that was like, but we got to keep going, keep pushing. And there's this voice that was like I couldn't even hear it actually at this point. I think at that point, I should say, I was having like panic attacks. I wasn't sleeping. But from the outside world, everyone was like, but Tasha's so sparkly. And so this, I was like, that was like, it's such an inauthentic version of me that was out in the world, if I'm being really honest. That was just like amazing and like just showing the big best and brightest. But when I was back in my lovely home, like I was so down and depressed and dark, and it was a really dark time in my life. And then I got that email that was good and stringy, and I was like, I need to work with this lady. I don't know who she is, but I trust my friend that sent me that email. And it was the catalyst for all the shifts that have happened over the 3+ years, you know, that since the real spark that like, you know, brought me away from having like panic attacks on my floor to like being able to like show up and like share the work that I know and I love, and learning and exploring like where I am today. It's like two totally different senses in the body, and that comes from this like, yeah, the earthy, the grounded, the connecting back to her, the exploration. I still remember the lands that we journeyed on through our meditation, and like, you know, they're still like with me, you know. It's just super powerful and potent. So even when I'm having like more blue days, you know, especially the last year, it's like I still go back to those lands, imaginary or real. And like, I don't know, I went from like concrete jungle life, which I'm still in the concrete jungle of Houston, but I like go walk to the park, even if it's not my favorite park, but at least it's some earth, you know, or go hang out by that tree and go climb it, because like, why not? And like, just these are like the medicines, you know, that were definitely sparked by our work together.
You know, it's so
hour.
What's that?
Like, I could go on for an hour about this probably, but yeah.
I mean, I could go on for an hour about you too. Yeah, it was amazing. You were my first client that I did over the phone, because back in the day, I didn't start out during pandemic times. You were the only person I was working with remotely, which is so crazy. But like, yeah, but we did such powerful work. I still remember your like beloved space, this like beautiful ecosystem that Natasha had that we would go to often, and I imagine still lives with you today. Yeah, and I mean, I mean, all of you, I think with all of you, we've gone to these places, you know, that live, you know, and sometimes they've been prompted by ecosystems that we visited in the world, or we've actually physically been in a natural space. But we've used that as a way to access the ecosystem inside of us. Mm-hmm. And so I guess that I kind of have like two questions next. I'm curious about what part of your internal ecosystem has been awakened in your journey, and especially journeying with the earth. And I mean, maybe this is too much to add this onto the question, but I'm really curious how that also supports you as Black and brown bodies in this world. How does the earth support you and that internal ecosystem support you in a way that it didn't as Black and brown bodies in this world?
Natasha's story actually reminded me, Kieran, of our first meeting, which, like, I remember how it all came about, but I had forgotten exactly what it was I was going through at that time, which was extremely traumatic. And so, like, I sort of remember, oh, I met you, it was so great, and we learned things, and then I did this workshop with you, and it was so great, and I learned so many more things. And I forgot that in the moment that I first connected with you, I had just experienced, like I said, kind of a traumatic event in which, honestly, racism, sexism, and ageism had all, like, and classism had all collapsed upon me in a situation. And then someone had told me about these one-on-ones you were doing. And I was, as all we Black and brown humans in the world, walking around, shouldering it all and handling it, right? But I took that opportunity. And what I recall, imperfectly, and not even all of it, was just like how grounding it was. And we actually weren't working outside, we were working inside and working with gemstones and doing some other things, but obviously earth. I mean,
Which
what
are
are
of the
gems?
earth.
The earth. Gems are nothing but the earth. um, and uh, and so not only was that experience incredibly grounding, but you are such a good listener, and you call yourself an intuitive leader for a good reason, right? You really got right into what I was experiencing and helped to reflect some of that back for me in a way that I could then make some use of it. And actually not immediately make any use of it, but so that, because first it was just about being in this great healing presence that you offered, right? And needing lots of time for all that to work together. And by the time all that did, I got to go do your other thing when I was more ready. So I think, I'm just going to say, as a total city girl, raised in a big city, uh, you have really helped and brought back to me how important it is for this Black body to be close to the earth, to have that rootedness, and to be heard and felt and seen there, right? So yeah, that came up for me.
You are the earth, my beauty.
Mm-hmm.
We are the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much. I felt that very deeply. And what part of the work has helped me with is acceptance. I think particularly because I've been in white spaces all the time. And I generally think that sometimes, oh, the problem's me. Is it my anger? Is it my expression? Is it my this? Is it my that? And I internalize that, oh, maybe it's me that has to change. Maybe, and I also come from, urban environments where we're always changing the landscape around us. We're not just embracing it.
Yeah.
And the earth-based work has really helped me with acceptance of my own anger, my own grief, my own rage, as we talked about earlier, my own historical context, and my truth and my strength, which sometimes scares people because of where they're at with their own process, that they don't expect that from me or feel comfortable around it. But knowing that is not necessarily my work, but accepting my voice, accepting my truth, and my anger. And then also recognizing that within the earth are all of the tools for me, like the nutrients, the mulch, right? To turn it into, to transform, to build, to grow. That is all within me. That is all here. I don't have to go out and buy it. But that it's here. I just haven't discovered it, right? There's this wonderful compost happening, but I don't always see it as such. And so that has really been revolutionary for me. It has unlocked the ability for me to embody like myself in my space really differently.
Mm. I love you.
I think back again to when we first started working together, and I think maybe at that point I was like, I'm gonna do this healing thing, and we're just gonna do it, and I'm gonna reach this point, and I'm gonna know when I reach this point.
You and everybody else.
Yeah, like, yeah. So now I can laugh at younger Ronnie with a lot of care and love, but yeah, I mean, I feel like you really honed in, Kieran, on how I'm someone who needs to process slowly and take my time. And my body was very clear with us when I tried to rush grounding, when I tried to rush through whatever was happening in my body to get to like a meditative state. And because you were so intuitive, you picked up on that. And I feel like you were one of the first, if not the first person to name, like, Ronnie, you were a slower processor, and that's okay. And we actually need people who process more slowly. We need people who are introverted, who are still leaders, because not all leaders can or should be extroverts. And yeah, I felt like that was almost like a revelation to me. No one had pointed that out to me. And so in the years since, I've definitely noticed like how the rhythms of my body, and just how I am in my body, mimic or are similar to different patterns of nature too. So that's been really cool.
Oh, that's so amazing. Yeah. Yeah. I think of like, when I think of your energy, it's so fertile. Yeah, you have just such fertile energy, your touch, your presence, that slowness is so nurturing. And you know, and I know that you've, like, in our work together, you've really brought to the space really complex questions and experiences around identity, and especially the identities you hold in a place like Portland, Oregon, and the, you know, and the dominant demographic, like the predominantly like white cis, you know, space. And yeah, I just remember like, wow, this person is able to bring these questions to the space because of your capacity, because of your fertile capacity, because of your ability to process on this, like, really, you're able to like tap into this more, I don't even want to call it slow. It's not slow. It's just this really dynamic space. And because of the time continuum inside of that ecosystem in you, like the deeper questions can be tolerated there, you know, like the more complex, and the complexity of our world it shows up in your sphere because you have these really rich soils that can handle it. And so it just makes me so happy to see that you are seeing that inside of yourself now too, and recognizing that. And you know, that is also, I think, what yeah, it's so deeply connected to that intuitive piece too, that you were seeking. and reclaiming inside of yourself. And so, yeah, again, with you and all of you, just so beautiful to, I mean, you all did. I remember you were the one who was like, when we were doing a breathing meditation, you were like, oh, I realized it actually takes me a while to bring my breath all the way to the ground. And I was like, yes, like really good noticing. And let's work with that instead of think of it as something that has to be fixed.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anything you want to add here, Natasha?
Flashing to like a lot of the different practices we've done over the time, because it's actually been like we met in person and then we came back, and it's been some in and out. And like I remember we did this drawing exercise where what came out of it, like envisioning myself as like this tree and like this like rooted tree, and then the expansive upper body, and like I still connect to that a lot. But I think the last session we had together was so potent, and I think kind of a testament to this like earth medicine work of like understanding the body and its connection to like all the outside world too. And we did this practice that I was feeling a lot of rage and a lot of stuff in my body, and like it was like really in the womb space, like a little higher, like solar plexus area. And we did this like noise, and after, and I was always really shy to like share my voice, and it's like really powerful to like share it in such a supportive place. But then there was this moment, like I felt like the days after, like almost like that energy that was stuck, like came up and like out, like by my voice, and like just that, anyways, that up and out. But it's like really important because that means it's like that stuckness that we're holding of like what was that rage? What was the story of the root of that story of like what that rage came from, and just letting it move through. So I can't say where the process of like connecting with earth and my body began, but like just these moments in time where the body speaks. And I think this work really helps to give access to that.
Yeah.
It's just what's popping in my head while
Yeah, I love it. I love it. That was a really, I want to acknowledge, first of all, how much conversation there's been about rage amongst us, both like before, because we had a little bit of a get together before we started recording, both then and also in this conversation now. And I want to also raise my hand and say that, when I think about like the ecosystem inside of me and what the earth helps me hold as a South Asian, gender fluid body, it's like lately I'm just like all the offerings to the soils and to the beautiful river that runs through this like hyper urban suburb I live in. Because I go there and my rage becomes sacred.
Yes.
It's like, and I can feel so deeply. And I feel this also when I felt this many times in our work together, that when such an honor to see your rage in our work and feeling its ferocity and its beauty and its power, and knowing, just feeling so intuitively in my body, this is not just it's not just because you're angry, like just feeling like, whoa, this is ancestors speaking. This is the earth speaking. This is, this is like the voices of the voiceless speaking through our rage, speaking through the earth of our own body, like that. This is that river. right?
Yep. Yep.
I'm like, I just cannot even tell you how many, like, so I have the distinct privilege of being on Haudenosaunee lands and the lands of the Mississaugas of the First Credit Nation people, and the Credit River runs through the lands where I live. And this winter, seeing that river raging, just such a reflection of the beauty of rage and the rage that flows through me and through each of you.
I'm so glad you named it in that way. And, you know, there's a reason why there's a phrase called righteous anger, right? Because righteous anger arises out of something is wrong. And no, you shouldn't just be, oh, that's fine, whatever, if something is wrong. And I'm also very glad that you named the ancestor piece, because I know, even though I've just met most of you today, that you carry your ancestors' blood and the harms that were done. I know I do. I know you do, right? And also, those harms haven't stopped. Right? And so the rage is necessary. There's that quote someone says, yes, be angry, don't be bitter, right? And I think that's a good lesson too, because that turning that righteous anger that's coursing through the rivers and the earth and our ancestors and our bodies, to turn that into something beautiful, something that grows, right? Like Nadia said, like the mulch that I'm making myself, right? Like what we're healing is ourselves, each other, and the entire planet. That's what we're doing.
Can you say that again? Can you remind me?
Yeah. No, what we are doing with our rage and with our work and with all of our feelings, we are healing ourselves, each other, and the entire planet. On behalf of those who came before us and on behalf of those who are still coming. A line of healing, a line of rage.
Bucky has something to say.
Bucky
Yes.
knows.
Yes. He's like, yes, I agree.
Yes. Yes, Becky. Yes, Michelle. I can feel us all in furious agreement. And
yes.
I mean, I just feel the emotion welling up. And then I think mostly because I feel that all the time and I feel alone in it, except for when I'm in my work with you all. But it's, you know, it's still, yeah, we're in pandemic. And so it's like, you know, I have my session with you and then it juices me up and reminds me of that. But it's like, I'm just like, oh, it's so beautiful to be here with all of you. And like, you know, what you're sharing with me is what I write about, what I share with so many others, and to have it come from a voice that's not just my own is just salvation right now.
Yeah, it's hard to put into words how powerful it feels to be here with you all. So I just really appreciate the opportunity to meet you and be with you all.
Same.
Yeah.
And one thing I want to add to, and I guess for anyone who ends up watching this, is that, well, I guess I'll speak for myself, but I imagine maybe all of us feel the same way, is that when I met Kieran and through my work with her, and even now, I have always felt so cared for and loved by you. And that is not something I've always felt when I've met with various healers. Yeah, I can get emotional. I'm going to. But that's something that's just really beautiful. And
Yeah,
I just want to thank you for loving me. And I love you too.
It's really hard not to love you all.
I echo that so much. Actually, I forgot that what led me to you was the loss of a pregnancy of twins, IVF cycle that didn't work, such an anger with my body, like why isn't this working? Such anger at the universe, such confusion with my guides and my ancestors, and a deep depression. And my partner said, the most important, we made a list of like, should we do it again? What do we need in order to do this again, to try to get pregnant? My partner, on their list, it was, I need you to become better friends with your body. And that's what led me in this detour that ended up in your arms, on your table, in your care, in your love, in your protection, in your shelter, in yet another portal that led to all the portals of care, to heal so much and to restore so much of what I had been through and where I was going.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm.
My spirit was so grateful for you, for each of you. I don't feel like there's really that much more to say after this. I kind of wanted to be like, okay, so now let's give the people like the tangible thing that you've changed at work, but I kind of actually don't want to go there. Like, if this isn't enough evidence, I think we're so used to, like, and I know this even in myself, and like, as I try to share, I mean, I'm a business owner, and that doesn't feel right for what I do. Like, it's kind of, I'm a servant, I'm a servant to the earth and to my people, and and to myself. And but yeah, capitalism, and so I have a business, and so I have to market, and and I can always feel people really wanting, okay, what's the tangible takeaway, and then like struggling with how to word that. And this is why I wanted to do this, because I'm just like this, I'm done wasting energy trying to give the like bullet points, and yeah, so I also don't want to do that here. And I mean, I've seen each of you make deep impacts in your lives and watch that ripple out in profound, profound ways. And not just, I think there's a lot of leadership work out there where it just focuses on work and the professional realm, and what I want to say about each of you is like, what I've seen is you take what we do and you are working on your most intimate relationships and the entire web,
Mhm.
And if you, like, whoever's listening right now, you don't feel that from these people, I don't know what else to give you. Like, their juice is juicy, you know, and radiant. And yeah, so I trust that. And I hope all of you can too, listening in. And let that be something to lean on as you also ask yourself how to be a powerful ripple, how to be a powerful node in the web of connection that you hold.
Mhm. If like I could add to that, and then like
Yeah.
this is the commercial, the commercial, right? That all the leadership courses and workshops and opportunities that are out there, like you said, they're focused on, oh, like, how do you do the work, and how do you measure, and which style of leader are you?
Yeah.
But this exploration of the earth-based cycles and ways, and knowing ourselves, like if you can't do that first, then all that other stuff is really for naught, right? And I'm not trying to say it's useless, and I've been through those courses and I'm grateful for them and what I've learned, right? Yeah, I know, holla, right? But like at the end of the day, it is that connection with your body, with your spirit, with your mind. And Kieran, that's what you lead us through. And not that, oh, like all the answers and we don't, but that you have this gift to awaken within us, where that wisdom is, right?
Mm.
And then if we need to be in an organization and have a measurement or or whatever, like we can do that in a so much more whole, unharmonious way. So that is my gratitude to you. That is my commercial for the people watching. for capitalism, and yeah, my gratitude. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you all. I love you so much. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I am going to ask for just some exiting words. But here's, I love to throw the curveballs. Add in that complexity. So let's end off. I want you to share with the crew and all those that are listening what's still feeling hard for you. Let's end it on a really human level. Because what I also know is that you are amazing seasoned leaders. And being a seasoned leader, unlike a lot of the work out there, does not mean that you are invincible. It means that you're actually that much more available for all the complexity and the hardship and the intensity. And you all show up to that and face the hard stuff with such courage. And I know you're in it right now. And we all are, and you're in it more because you're not blocking yourself off from it. We aren't, and so please let us be a vessel of holding for what you're having, the heaviness that you're having to bear. Feel free to unleash it into our soil so we can mulch it for you. And then maybe just say your name from your root as an honoring to your spirit and to your body and your vessel and the earth inside of you.
Well, so one thing that I'm still having a hard time with and struggling with is, we've been talking about rage a lot, and amidst the rage and intensity of various things happening in my life, there's also a lot of good. And one thing I'm still having a hard time with is when the good stuff happens. And sometimes even when I like feel really good, there's still a part of me that wonders, like, do I deserve this good thing? Do I deserve to feel this good? And the rational part of me knows that, yes, you do deserve this, but the deepest felt part of me sometimes still has that question. So yeah, I just wanted to offer that as something that is still hard for me sometimes. My name is Rani.
Thank you, Rani. You are received and you are heard.
I've been coming to realizations / struggling with the fact that I feel like I've been keeping myself very small. I'm 5'11", I'm a tall lady. Like, I'm not a small person, but like somehow I've been keeping myself small for a long time in different avenues, and it's showing up with work, and it's showing up with love, and even the sense of like, yeah, what I was speaking to earlier before we started recording was like this this sense of over accommodating for like other people and other things, but like somehow it comes back to like my own worthiness and like how worthy do I feel like I am of love or success and of being seen. And I thought I didn't realize that was a thing until very like this week, maybe during my cleanse, it came out. And so something I'm navigating. I'm Natasha.
Thank you, Natasha. You are seen, you are heard, and you are received. I love you.
Nadia, you or me? Good enough. Fine. Something that I was thinking about this morning when I was having some quiet time is related to something that you said a moment ago, Kiran, about like right now in this moment with these siblings in the work, and the feeling of connectedness, and even, as you said, hearing something said and it wasn't your voice, it was someone else. And this is what I know: tomorrow, or even when we stop, I won't be with you. I will remember you all and the beauty of this conversation, but I won't necessarily be with people with whom I can speak as fully and deeply and richly in the way that we have in this space together. And I'm working toward that, right? Like I'm trying to build out those spaces better so that we can have that freedom to be fully human with each other. But the thing that I will continue to struggle with is sometimes that feeling of being alone. And not because I think I'm exceptional or I'm the only one who thinks the things that I think, but right, like I know and firmly believe and understand that we are all connected as beings, right? But sometimes I feel alone. And I was thinking about that this morning and thinking, oh, why do I still feel that? I know it's not true, but I feel that way sometimes. And so I think that's a piece of work for me still. My name is Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. You are seen, you are received, and you are heard. Definitely.
I don't know how to follow. I think my parting words are that if you're watching, if you're here, then you're here, and that's not an accident. and to accept the invitation. For me, for the longest time, it's like, oh, it's so much money. Oh, I'm not worth it. Oh, will it, fix me? Will I be healed? Like, and it's immeasurable. It's immeasurable. It's unquantifiable. And if you're here, then you're curious, then you're worth it.
So well, yes.
For me, the thing that I am sitting with is related to our last conversation. When I think of your framing of Earth, my body, and the seasons, for me, it's acceptance of death and grief for that which I cannot even name, and learning from it, letting it in, surrendering, and inviting a new relationship with the that season. And my name is Nadia.
Thank you, Nadia. You are seen, you are received, you are heard. All of you. Also, in all that you are grappling with, you are enough. You belong to me, to our earth, to each other. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
I love you. Talk to you soon. And hope to talk to you sometime in the near future. Have you join the community in whatever way feels good for you, that feels accessible to you. Know you are loved by me, by us, by the earth, and you are welcome anytime. Many blessings to all of us in this massive transition that we are in and will continue to be in. May we continue to feel loved, connected, seasoned.
Mm-hmm.